Hello and welcome to this new episode of List Connections, the playlist community built. I mix all those words up. This is the community built playlist podcast. My name is Rob. I'm your DJ doctor of music. And our guest today, this is Megan. Hey, Megan. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi there.
Hi, good to have you. So as stated at the beginning, you have come to us with a request for a type of playlist, which we'll get into in a second. And our wonderful listeners and myself have assembled hopefully a functional and enjoyable playlist for you, but also for everyone to enjoy. And I guess let's get into it. The playlist you suggested was you're an actress and you wanted something. I'm gonna butcher it, but I'm gonna let you actually explain it.
That's okay.
A playlist that kind of goes through the highs and lows of maybe being an actor. So something to pump you up for auditions, something to bring you down, something to kind of settle yourself, and something to like inspire you. So I'm hoping I said a lot of words that made sense to you, but please tell me exactly what you were looking for.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Going into an audition, every audition's different, every script's different, obviously. And so, you need a different type of energy for every character. And what I was really looking for was a playlist that could hit those really dramatic characters, a playlist that could hit those like powerful woman characters, a playlist that could hit, a character who's really sad and depressed, something that can help like change the mood. Because I found myself, and I'm sure everybody who's listening to this is, I'm like my mood is so affected by music, and I can change it really quickly by just throwing on some party music, or I can change it really quickly by just throwing on some sad, depressing stuff. So I'm really connect very closely with music, and it really does help me moving into like the auditions and building characters and stuff.
No, that's amazing. Okay. Yeah. And that's just not even being an actress. Like you just said, music is so universal. So people use it as kind of like a therapy or a hype man to just get into their regular life. So maybe just speak on like, as an actress, like what has been some of the things that like make you most nervous? Because I think I'm just like such an attention person and I like to talk in front of people, but like I get like just nervous talking in front of a stranger if it's like one-on-one. But if I like go on stage and there's 1,000 people, I'm like, fine, I can like make them invisible. So just like but I'm not an actor. I'm not good at much things. I'm good at listening to music and listening to people talk. But as someone who is kind of doing that in their life, what's the most nervous part, like the thing that makes you the most anxious about it?
I think like, I don't know, because I like to be like super, super prepared and super like dug into a character. So by the time I get to set, I feel pretty comfortable. So honestly, probably the most nerve-wracking part is trying to book the job, aka audition. But otherwise, like once you book the job, you're really like digging deep into somebody's like life and trying to recreate that into this beautiful art form. And so I would definitely say the most nerve-wracking part is, going in front of strangers and auditioning in person, which we don't really do that much anymore, which is kind of awesome. Self-tapes have really changed the whole auditioning process. You have the opportunity to really put your best foot forward in a self-tape. So I would say, that period between like waiting to get the job, did I book it, and like the audition process is probably the most nerve-wracking part.
Oh, for sure. And actually, you kind of said it's almost maybe not easier, but I always wondered, like, is that better to be able to do your audition not in front of people, but in front of a camera? Because I guess because you don't have to do like one take of that, right? You can like go back and say, hey, I didn't like that. Okay. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. It gives you so much opportunity to really like make sure you've got a solid tape down. So yeah, for sure.
But is it easy to like go through the like kind of roller coaster of moods that your characters will need that you're auditioning for with just a nothing in front of you? Like, can you be angry at a camera? Can you be in love with a camera? I guess that's the job of acting. I don't know. Like, I've now just realized I explained what acting is to an actress. So yeah, never mind. But go ahead and give me an answer if you want. Okay.
It's definitely, easier when you're like looking into somebody's eyes versus like looking past a camera point or something. What I've really been enjoying the most recently is teleprompter reads because it's just like so much easier to just throw some personality in there. You're not worried about like, oh, I forgot that line, and oh, I really wanted to get this perfect. So that's what I've been enjoying the most recently. But yeah, I actually really enjoy like riding the coaster of emotion that characters go through. I would say that's honestly my favorite part is getting to just kind of like play with how this person would react to that person saying that. But it's definitely like so much easier to react to somebody who's having reactions to you than to just like guess. But you also get the opportunity to like really make it your own. You know, you rarely have a full script before you're looking into anything. So you have like 2 pages potentially to really, really, really like dig in and create this character out of almost nothing, which is actually really fun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that just like opens so many creative avenues, I imagine. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so like I remember this is I was a theater major in college, and I don't know why. It was because I was too nervous to be good at like anything productive like coding or engineering. But I did have to audition for things, and I always this was like 2008, and I didn't realize I was doing this. But every audition I went to, subconsciously, I just did the Heath Ledger voice from the Joker because that was just like no matter what character it was. It could be a comedy. Like I auditioned as like a photographer for a comedy. Like the character was like a comedy photographer who like went around and took pictures of like other people performing and then would steal their jokes. And I didn't like the joke. I was like, I'm the Joker and I'm doing and I like
That's
didn't
so
realize I was doing
awesome.
that for my entire freshman year. And then I think someone told me is like, why do you keep doing the same voice? And it's like, what voice? And then I like watched they were taping it back then. So that's when I immediately realized I should not be like ever a performer.
My
Um,
favorite thing that people do on like on camera, and it's something that nobody notices they do because I work in reality TV behind the scenes
mm.
too. So I work with a lot of people who've never been on camera before, and my favorite thing that they do is this. They just like go back and forth, switching weight on their feet, and you can tell they're nervous, but they never know they're doing this. So
Oh,
I'm sure
that's
it was
so
completely, you had no idea you were doing it at all.
that's so funny. And so like like then do you have to like roll your eyes and go like, oh, I have to edit around this so they don't so not everyone in like whatever makeover show you're doing is just rocking back and forth like they're on a boat of
Usually
nerves.
it stops when they speak and then it comes
Mm.
back when they're not speaking. But yeah, it's just great. It's my favorite like thing that I've noticed people do.
Oh, that's very funny. Okay, let's jump to real quick before we get into the playlist. Your kind of musical taste that you mentioned that you really love are kind of it's less genres and more like personalities. So you were gravitating towards
Yeah,
Oliver Tree, Deo Friere, who I think I said that right.
Daddy
I've never
Fry.
said it out loud, but I've been listening to him for a minute. Um, so yeah, like I think what draws you then to personalities over style or like could like Oliver Tree just like release like a straight up just metal album and you would be on board or like a jazz fusion album
Absolutely.
and it's just like cuz he's him with his bowl cut like I'm on board.
Absolutely. I love people who like create characters. Um I just want to like I just love obscure things too.
Hmm.
I've always like been a little bit of like a rebel in general of oh, people are into all this, I'm not going to be into it. And so I've always kind of like gravitated towards like obscure people doing obscure things, and that's my favorite type of music to listen to. And I think it's just because they're trying so hard to go against the norm, or they just decided that they're going against the norm, and that's like so appealing to me. I love that.
That's so cool. Yeah, I mean that's such a different way to approach music. I almost love that more than like because I'm like, oh, I always like really like emo or neo soul, and like I'll listen to anyone that's neo soul, but like to come at it from like a much more like granular. There's like, oh, I like this guy's dressing crazy, and I want to see what he has to
Mm.
say if he has the confidence to like wear 10,000 colors and a different mask. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Uh,
I just love the character of it. Like
yeah, yeah.
I don't know, it's just awesome. And it probably goes with
Great.
like my acting background is just loving like
Yeah,
a
no, you're like
character on stage.
bringing that all out. Okay, so let's get into the playlist. Before we do, so how you kind of mentioned you were requesting something that like will get you into the heads of the various characters you're auditioning for. I think it
Yeah.
functions that way. I actually interpreted it a little different, which is a day in the life of an actor or an actress.
Ooh, I love
So
that.
yeah, so I kind of have, and it's similar in that you're kind of going through the different modes and emotional kind of spaces that you need to get into and get out of it. But I'll kind of explain my like heady, probably incorrect thought process. Uh, but yeah, it's like you're starting in the morning, you're going through your auditions, you're going through your work, and then you're ending into the evening. So
Nice.
yeah, I think are you ready to listen to song number one?
I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked. I'm ready.
Okay, cool. Let's throw it to song number one. This is Fifi Dobson, "Dancing for Me." All right, that was Fifi Dobson, "Dancing for Me." Fifi's a Canadian singer. This is off her fourth album, Emotion Sickness, and like, so Fifi came up in the kind of mid 2000s in like that emo pop punk scene, and she was like the answer to Avril Lavigne. It was like trying to be like more
Mm.
like kind of pop punky girls, and I have this like distinct memory of watching her videos on TRL. And then I like went through her discography as I was like making this post. I don't recognize any songs, so I have no idea what video I used to watch. But I had like such a little emo kid crush on her. But this album is killer. This is her most recent thing. She like kind of took a 10-year hiatus, came back with this, and I love this song kind of as like I imagine the like the thesis statement of being an actress and maybe what you're looking for, where it's like the opening credits to the Megan movie, the day in the life of Megan's
Yeah.
acting. Yeah, it's just like you're independent, you're doing it yourself, no one's holding you back. You might have had like a crazy little rocky time before, but hey, it's you're ready to go. You're like punching out the like demons and the things that are stopping in your way. So yeah, just how'd you feel about Fifi?
So I love this song. Like this is 100% going on my personal playlist. It's like a great way
Yeah.
to like just start. Like it just has such like a bop vibe, which I love. When I was listening to it, I actually brought me back to a role I played a while back, a couple years ago, and it was like a dominatrix role, where it's like this powerful like person, like just like trying to do their best in life. And it reminded me of like the opening sequence. I like step on a cigarette to put it out and stuff like that. I felt like that was like very much the vibe of this, like very like powerful woman, like I'm on my own beat, like doing my own thing. Um, yeah, so that's what I thought about it. But I love this as the first pick.
Oh yeah, that's so okay, good because we're on the same page. Yeah, exactly. I could like see just like a badass girl getting out of the bar like with the cigarette, just throwing it on the ground and it's
Yeah,
like, oh, I got an audition in 20 minutes, whatever, and like and then just kills it.
yeah.
So like, yeah, good. This like kind of strong. Yeah, so amazing. Glad we got the same reaction. So this next song, we'll just jump into it, and then we'll kind of talk about it. But this is going to take a kind of like a different tone, like get into a different kind of headspace. So this is Mac Miller's Self Care. All right, that was Self Care by Mac Miller. I mean, everyone knows who Mac Miller is, rapper from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, no longer with us, but made just a killer impression on pop and rap music. So this is from the album Swimming. So this is the response album to his breakup with Ariana Grande. So the entire thing is kind of just like his self reflection on his addiction, his heartbreak, and I really like this song because it's very self reflective and like kind of taking ownership of just like, hey, this is the thing as I'm going through. And I think it like fits real well for you because like you're starting your morning as an actress and you like need that like kind of self-care and like need to get into that like headspace and kind of put like all the like, hey, I'm coming at this, and even if I'm nervous, even if I have these like anxieties, I know I'm going to kill it, and so I need to like remember that I'm the I'm the Mac Miller of what's about to happen in the audition room. So
I
yeah,
love that
how'd you feel about
analysis of
self
it.
care? Yeah, good.
I love that analysis of it. That's so great. When I first listened to this, the first thing that came to my mind was like this version of like laid back power of like
Mm.
we're like sitting back and we're like laid back in our power. We don't need to like the first song is very like I'll throw my rebel power in your face versus this is more like I don't need to do that. I'm good. Which I love that for any character too. And I also love that the song has like morphs a little bit halfway through. It has like a definite like change, which is always so cool and also kind of gives you a good arc for self-care in general too, because it is like really an arc of change. So yeah, I'm stoked about this one as well.
Good. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm a big. I'm so glad that's like what you were interpreting, because I didn't even think about it as like a response to the first one. I almost thought it was kind of like just a continuation. But you're totally right. It's like a different energy, but almost the same message. It's like I'm a boss, and
Yeah.
I might have my like wrinkles and my flaws, but that's what makes me the boss. And like you just kind of like let it kind of soak together. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mac Miller rules. Whole discography. I mean, he had two. Unfortunately, his two last albums, but they're both like very like thoughtful, introspective, and I think it like is the most relatable kind of rap music out there.
Mm.
Not only for like people who are like working and hustling, which is a lot of what rapping is, but like just kind of knowing themselves. Like it's nice to like not see someone flex and kind of see someone be vulnerable, but still like flex. Like, hey, the vulnerability is the armor. Like that's
Yes.
a nice.
Have Have you listened to NF? I love him too, and he's
Yo,
like
NF kills.
super
Yeah, yeah,
vulnerable in his rap, and that's my favorite thing about him is because he's so
yeah.
vulnerable in it.
Oh yeah, no, that's yeah. He's like a great like kind of yeah. He's kind of carrying that torch for Mac now. Sweet. Okay, now we're gonna like definitely get back into the flexing, which is this next song. This is from DJ Shadow. This is Rocket Fuel featuring De La Soul. Alrighty, yeah, oh, that's such a jam. So that's Rocket Fuel from DJ Shadow, NorCal DJ, very popular now. This is off his album Our Pathetic Age and features De La Soul. Um, oh, like when I first read the prompt, it was like, oh, this is a hype up. Like you need like one of those, and this is the song that I hypes me up. I listen to it probably once a week, just like in the shower. This is like the pumping up, ready to like
Yeah.
get into. So I think this is like a perfect kind of coda to come out of the self care and like I'm ready for audition. It's at 11. I am driving there, and this is the song that like will get me in the headspace. For me, it's very like male and like kind of flexy, although it is pretty positive. It's not like aggressive.
Mm.
Uh, but like I don't know what your interpretation of it. So how'd you feel about Rocket Fuel?
Yeah, I definitely felt like this is a song to like start jamming and like almost like the getting ready song when you're doing your hair and makeup and like you're starting to like get yourself in the headspace for the audition and you're like raring up and ready to go. This is like the one you want to like bop to be like, yeah, I'm the shit.
Yeah, no, so cool. Yeah. Yeah, like I guess as an actress, what character would you like interpret to have this song playing in the background while they're coming
Yeah,
down the
so
street or yeah.
the first thing that I was imagining with this song was like a bank heist. Like everybody's like
Oh,
starting to gear up, throw the shit into the car, they go to the car, they're starting their heist. Their heist is over and they're just like rocking on their way out of the heist from the bank that they just stole all this money.
got away with
That's
it.
just like the first thing my brain went to with that song.
That's amazing. That's so cool. This is exactly like I feel like that. Like you got away with something amazing.
Yeah.
And you need to celebrate. Like, yeah, this is definitely like one of those. This is also like a fun song. I mean, this is just like such a dorky music thing, but anytime I get new headphones, this is the first song I play because it's got such a good balance of like the 808s and the trebles, and it's like just, I mean, that's what
Mm.
DJ Shadow does, is he just creates this kind of like symphony of like noise and wall of sound. And so it's like a great way to be like, oh, these are good headphones. So
Yeah, and
um
I always love like when they do the stereo and they're in multiple like different sounds are happening in different ears. That's like my favorite part of like listening to music with like nice headphones is like it's really like an experience, which is so fun.
yeah, no, so cool. All right, let's get into, we're gonna keep the energy up, but like a different kind of up, like a more like laid back up, with our next song. This is from Little Big. This is called Skibbity, romantic version. So that was Little Big, Skibbity, the romantic version. So, you know, there's a
Mhm.
couple versions out there. They're a Russian rave band, which is apparently a genre of music. And you were looking for like big personalities that match like Oliver Tree and Deo. These are the people you want to look at. I don't know if you know anything about Little Big, but they are
Oh
some.
yeah.
Oh, okay, good. You've like tuned into this. You found your niche then, because these are
Oh
like
yeah.
some very fun weirdos to watch. And I mean, the music's great. It's killer. It uses like kind of like animal sounds and like kind of like found
Yeah.
weird techno. But like the videos are their own thing, and they have like,
They're insane.
yeah. So like everyone stop playing the podcast. If you're listening to a car, pull over so you can watch a video on your phone real quick. But like it's like their own like weird world, and I'm like so glad they exist. And I'm so glad they make music. But in relation to kind of what we're going for, day in the life of an actor, I feel like this is like the okay. I'm auditioning for that cool bank heist girl, and I need that like smooth, like let me get in, but keep that high energy. So that's kind of what I was going for. But how did you react to this? Do you think it fits? Do you think it works?
So I love Little Big. I'm a huge fan. Actually thinking about going to a concert soon because I love them so much. Their music videos are insane, like you said, and I love like the different sound effects they use, just like you said. But they're just so cool. They're such artists, especially in their music videos. With this, I'm like I've heard the original Skibbity. I've heard a couple different versions of the Skibbity, but I have not heard this one. So I was so happy to see this on the playlist. Um, yeah, I just love this. The first like image that was coming to my mind, like character wise with this was like some funky club. And it's like a club scene where people are like starting to dig each other and like you know those slow motion camera moves as people are like dancing and stuff. That's what I was imagining with this, but it's like a funky club, like not normal people there. There's some outside cool, crazy charactery type people there.
Yeah. No, yeah, this is, I mean, talk about personality just without even seeing an
Yeah.
image. You just like hear the words and exactly what you just said. You just like interpret like oh, people who are way cooler than I will ever be are just hanging out, and this is
Yeah.
the soundtrack that they're displaying. Uh, yeah, great. Oh, I'm so glad you like know who Little Big is, and also like you're
Yeah.
right. Like there's a couple of versions. This is probably their biggest, most well known song, but they've like made like a romantic version, a slowed down version. They have like
Yeah.
live versions that are entirely independent and different than everything else they do. So it's like when you have a band that can just take one idea and make 17 different like iterations on that, it's like so cool. Like you know you've like found something special.
Yeah, if we're like having like a little get together or something, this is the music that goes on. Like the TV is like background noise and just music videos just going around and around. This is definitely like the playlist that we start with. So I was so happy
They
to see this was on here.
good. Okay, cool. Knocked it out of the park. All right,
Yes.
let's kind of stay in the romantic vibes, but get a little more chilled with our next song. This is Poolside in Panama, Back to Life. That was Back to Life by Poolside in Panama. So they are a and their words, not mine, chill wave band from
Mm.
Los Angeles. They like not just chill wave; they have given themselves the self-assigned genre of daytime disco. So they're like a real
Ooh.
funky. It's yeah, it's like three guys. I think it might have changed a couple of times because they've had a couple of albums. But yeah, they just have been. I've been on them for a little bit. They've been making music for the last 5 years, and it's just exactly like disco. Daytime disco is like perfect. It's like this like kind of like yacht
Mm.
rock for Gen Z. It's like this like
Yeah.
perfect like relax by the pool. And I like this song because I think in my head you've now done your skibbity romantic version audition for your cool bank rob girl, and you were coming out of that and you like gave it all to the camera, to the
Yeah.
people in the room, and then you just need that like moment to like reflect, relax, and like find the energy to like kind of
Zen
revive
out.
yourself. And I think it's like this like kind of like almost meditative, like getting you back into being awake. But yeah, I mean, it can also work just like hanging out at a bar with a white claw. Like I think it's like perfect, like makes you feel like summer anytime. But yeah, how'd you feel about Back to Life?
So this one definitely had me like thinking about like daydreaming about somebody that you love and
Mm.
like being able to use the song for an audition where somebody is like super into somebody but doesn't know where to start is this is like kind of the song for that type of character. I the lyrics of the song are so cool. Like he says that he's wasting his time like not connecting with this person and he just needs this person to bring him back to life, and I just love that like thought of I can't do this without you and I need help
Yeah.
and but I can't get myself to do it, but I have to. And then by the end of the song you get the you this person brings him back to life, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, like, what's more relatable than that? Like, even if it's,
Yeah.
and I almost even interpret this, and maybe this is just because I'm so sad and alone. Like, it doesn't even need to be like a romantic partner. It could just be like a, hey, I need that like one friend or that one, like my mom. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I like had a tough day at work. If I just call her, I know she's gonna say something nice about like the way I dress or something.
Anything.
It's just gonna like,
It could be
yeah, it's just gonna
anything that you're yearning for, you know?
yeah, you just need that like kind of like quick hit to like bring you just back up on your comfort. Cool. Yeah. I'm so glad you like got the same like kind of like chill interpretation of it. Um,
Mm.
yeah. All right. We'll get into our next one. This is getting kind of back to the energy up. This is for audition two. I'm giving you like a real special, like busy day of like you have two auditions in the same
Nice.
day. Yeah. So you're like really working hard. You're on the grind. This is Stevie Wright. I've got the power. All right, that was "I've Got the Power" from Stevie Wright. So he was an Australian pop star. Like, as far as I can tell, I didn't know anything about this. Someone else submitted this song, so it's like
Mm.
nice with like I didn't have to do heavy lifting, but then I had to like discover it on my own. And it sounds like he was just like the biggest star in Australia for like the 80s, the 90s, and then he
Yeah.
unfortunately passed away. But he's got that like kind of like cool like late 70s, early 80s like rock, like it sounds like kind of like Stevie Wonder mixed with Rolling Stones. And like you're looking for people with personalities. This guy, I don't know anything about him, but just from the 3 minute song, like he oozes personality. And I think it's like a great kind of like second hill hype to like get you into round two auditions where it's just like a yeah, I've got the power and like I got the like moves. So yeah, like how do you feel about
Yeah.
Stevie?
So this one, at first, I was like, maybe this isn't a great song for me. But then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, if you had like a '70s period piece, like this would be like perfect to help like get you into that like lifetime, you know, of what that felt like living in that time period. So I want to take back that I don't think it was a great song to add to this playlist because I think it is a great song for any type of '70s period piece. But personally, for me, I'm not in love with this song. Like I've been in love with most of these other songs that have
Oh,
been on
okay.
here. This is, I don't think I'd put this on like my personal playlist, but I think it has like a good time and a place to be useful for sure.
Yeah, no, and that's totally awesome. And you kind of need like those sort of songs that aren't like your favorites but are functional in like very
Yeah.
particular situations. Like, yeah, I have like a ton of those where it's just like I don't really like whoever, but like I was gonna, because this is like true and I'm gonna get canceled immediately, but I don't really like Taylor Swift. Just like it,
Mm.
I think she's amazing. I think she's accomplished so much, but like her music has never resonated with me. But like I can see myself in a like workout class where like Shake It Off comes on. I'm like, this is the right vibe for this room. Like,
Yeah.
and so
Absolutely.
like,
Absolutely.
yeah. So great. Yeah. I mean, Stevie, he was a really cool, weird dude. He's got like a David Bowie look. I mean,
Yeah, he
I'm
does.
glad. Yeah. When I like discover someone new. So like, if you're into like weirdos who made music for a little bit, not in this country, Stevie's the right one. Um, and now let's get a couple weirdos who made music in this country. This is the next song. This is "Ride Ride" by Workwife. That was "Ride Ride" by Workwife. They're a Brooklyn-based duo. This is from their EP Quitting Season, and they're just kind of like this like cool like lo-fi, like just
Mm.
fresh on the scene. They only have a couple EPs out. But yeah, I mean it's I know I already assigned chill wave music to Poolside a couple songs ago, but I think this kind of fits in. And my
Mm.
interpretation of it is this is like this like kind of sweet, gentle song, kind of similar to the Poolside song where it's like, hey, I
Yeah.
just gave it my all in that Stevie Wright audition. I'm coming out, and you mentioned you have a husband. I pictured like your husband's waiting for you in the car and he's like ready to take you out. Like you did your two auditions. Let's go chill.
Mm.
Let's go like celebrate the like, I know you killed it. You know you killed it. But that could be like a friend. That could be like just like your own self, just like taking you out, and I'm ready to relax, and like I did my thing and I know I killed it, and like let's go have a good time. So like yeah, how do you
Yeah,
feel about Ride
absolutely.
Ride?
I it's so mellow. Like I almost feel like I should be in a car, like driving on the edge of like the ocean, just like
Mm,
laying back and enjoying it all. And it also reminded me of like a type of character who's like trying to push through something. Like there's still something there. Like there's still a little bit of sadness to the mellowness of the song, I feel like. They're still like trying to like work through something. And I think it would be great for any character that is like not like excited, like strong and powerful, but kind of more like mellow and like daydreamy and like where could we go from here type of thing, which I think is true for a lot of ranges of characters too.
yeah, like I like that because to me, I also get that. I feel like it's a very positive song, but you're right. It has like this like kind of tinge of like melancholy or sadness or like
Mm,
yearning. And like that's almost like poetic about it. Like even especially being like an actor, I imagine like you go out, you give it your all, and you get that part, but you getting that part now takes you off the market for however long that part needs to exist, and
yeah.
you might miss out. And so it's like there's always the like kind of trails and timelines of like what if, um, but that's life. That's just like
Mm,
what happens. So yeah, but yeah, like you just said, this is like a chill, like let's drive by the ocean. um,
yeah.
all right, cool, cool. All right, we got a couple more songs left. This next one is gonna bring the energy back up, I hope. This is Disco Two Step from rock band Me Like Bees. All right. Well, that was Disco Two Step from Me Like Bees, this indie rock outfit from Kansas. Uh, this is one of those bands. I mean, there's a lot of them that exist but I always get very jealous of they like are high school friends who just like formed a band in high school when they were like 16 and 18 and then just made music for the rest of their lives and like started out like pretty decent and then just got and it's just like I wasn't good at anything at 16. Like the best band I could have started was people who just play Tony Hawk Pro Skater like at medium level. And that was like my expertise. But yeah, I like love this. This feels like a night out on the town. Like I said, you're coming out of your fun audition day. You got your person who takes you with that work wife ride, and now you're just like at a bar. And maybe it's not like the most fancy bar, but it's like kind of you're just your local watering hole, and you're just like having a good time. And this is like a song I can drink like a rum and coke to, and like just like spend the night just like kind of bopping to. But like, yeah, how do you feel about Disco Two Step?
I love this song. I think the song is so cool. It's got such a good like rhythm to it. Like it's not too hard, but it's not too soft. Like it's definitely very rocky. The first thing that came to mind for me was like lusty, like a little bit like
Mm.
lusty naughty. But I'm assuming like looking at the lyrics because after listening, I really wanted to read the lyrics. But looking at the lyrics, it sounds like it's probably written while they were on tour as they're like traveling around the country. And my favorite line of this song was, I left my love in Missouri, all alone she waits for me. But Missouri kind of sounds like misery, which I thought was kind of cool. Like when he's singing it, if I hadn't read the lyrics, I would have thought he said, I left my love in misery, all alone she waits
Yeah.
for me. So I kind of love that like two way you could take that lyric depending on whether you're looking at the actual lyrics or not. And I hope that would be intentional, but and it probably was, but I love that line of it for sure.
Oh, and see, like I had always heard Missouri, and now that you say that, I almost wanted to be Misery. Like you're right. That's like almost
Yeah.
that's almost even if that's like this, it means almost the same thing. Like he left his love behind. He left his love in.
Yeah.
Like now it's oh god. Oh, that's so cool.
It's
Music's
like an
great.
extra way it could mean.
Yeah, it's like a little wrinkle. But yeah, that's also like kind of the beauty of a lot of music. And I mean, this is like a different subject entirely, but like when you make something that's such a bop and then it like has these like kind of like tragic, like I always love when an
Mm,
artist can like take a moment that's personal to them that's like so sad and turn it into something that people are going to like actually emote to in a whole different level. And it's just like, oh
yeah.
God.
I love that
Yeah.
too.
Cool, cool. Speaking of like emoting on all different levels, this next song is I love this song. This is like a brand new song that I just discovered. This is "Eat, Fuck, Sleep Forever" by Love Fame Tragedy. Let's give it a listen. Not to spoil anything, but this might be my favorite of the playlist. Don't let that influence you at all. You don't have to like what I like. Uh, but here we go. Let's give this song a listen. All right, that was "Eat, Fuck, Sleep Forever." We can cuss on this podcast, I think. So, like, I hope so. That was by Love Fame Tragedy, which is Matthew Murphy, who is the lead singer of a great band called the Wombats, who had some moderate success over the last few years. This is his little solo side project. He just released it a couple weeks ago. But yeah, this song is like written by a pop professional, which I people tend not to love. This is just like my own soapbox thing, real quick. Like when established artists from established bands kind of step out and do like a little side thing and then step back in. And I always like
Yeah.
that because it's like someone who has like mastered a craft kind of goes out and like does a little different thing, but with the expertise of years of like doing like music and understanding how a studio works, how instrumentation works, how to like create like kind of perfect pop ballads and then create something like so different and weird and then goes back into their own like new thing. But outside of that, I think this is like a real like beautiful meditation on just life in general and how hard it is to like function just not even as an actor, but like you could interpret it that way, but just as a person. Like everyone has a boss, everyone's trying to stay healthy, and everyone
Mm,
does at least three of these, hope sometimes two out of the three, but like eat, sleep, fuck, and then like that's life.
Mm.
And it's like repetitive and cyclical, but that's not always bad because eating's amazing, sleeping's wonderful. I think fucking's pretty cool sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think it's like we kind of like bemoan the monotony, but the monotony has beauty within it that you really need to like kind of let you realize that. So Megan, how do you feel about all these verbs that you can do in life?
So I loved this song too, and it came off very like. So I have an upcoming role that's coming up that I'm absolutely going to use this for because there's a whole like montage section, and this song feels like very like montage-esque to me.
Mm.
Like this would be a great song to put over somebody making a drink, and like we're going from day in to day out, day in to day out. I love that aspect of the song, and I definitely want to use it for that, like for that mindset of like montage and time passing. Um, but yeah, this is like just another great one. I also love the cover art for this. I love it when
Mm.
cover art like is looks like it's been drawn by little kids. That's like
Yeah.
my favorite because I hope that they have like a niece or a nephew or a child that's actually drawing their cover art for them and that they just love it.
I love a good band name. Like a lot of
Mm,
bands that I listen to are like they could be any genre or any amount of people. But like if I like Me Like Bees, I found that band because it's like that's a cool weird thing to call yourselves. I bet you like to get on that level of creativity. But yeah, totally to like just have a whole full-fledged idea of like this is the aesthetic I want, this is the sound, this is like all of it that like I could just like it makes me smile. Like there's music that like makes me
mm,
smile, and sometimes it's sad music, but this is like I find it a truly happy song, even though the lyrics are kind of like inflation sucks, my boss is
yeah,
mean, but like but in spite of like you wouldn't appreciate like the really good nice things if your boss was always nice to you and you could afford every
yeah.
like you need kind of like the sour with the sweet, and like that's what makes the sweet sweeter, and I think like there's like a lot of beauty in realizing that. Yeah, it's cool. I'm glad you like it. This is my favorite. If I had to pick a number one, this is my number one. Well, but
Nice.
yeah, cool. Let's kind of take it down a little bit, kind of chill out with the next song. This is "Best of Friends" from the band Bubble Rap Trap. All right. Well, we just listened to "Best of Friends" by Bubble Rap Trap. So they're a jazz rock fusion band from Tel Aviv. They've only been around for a few years. I can find very limited music by them, but they are like just exactly what that sounds like. Song sounds like this, like kind of like funky, weird amalgamation of like, hey, I imagine, and I'm putting kind of words or history in this band's mouth that I know very little about, but I imagine it's like four friends who play four very different instruments who still want to make music together. So they like, I have a piano, I have a guitar, I have a saxophone, and they all just kind of like, well, we'll make it work. Um, but I feel like it's like very much like how you imagined a montage for the last song. This is my montage song. Like I see your like life as an actress kind of like going like, oh, I kind of do auditions every day. I go to the bar after I get up in the morning and I do my workout. Like this to me feels like, but you like love it and you crave it because that's like what the passion you have. And so like I can see you
Mm.
doing all of that with the smile that you kind of like need to get through it. So yeah, how do you feel about a little jazzy kind of best of friends number?
So I'm not super big on instrumentals, or let me just
Mhm.
say I'm picky on my instrumentals. And I don't know what that even means really to myself, but I know what when I hear it, what I like and what I don't like, if that makes sense. So I wasn't like super big on this at first, but this would be hilarious in like a comedy movie where somebody's like
Mhm.
running from somebody and they run into the elevator and then the elevator's just like doo 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 and they're just like going up the elevator really slow and then they like pop out of the elevator and start running again. That because it kind of reminds me of like elevator esque music, but like top end, not like garbage elevator
Yeah,
music.
yeah. No, and that's like I do that too a lot, and I think it's probably just because like maybe having been in theater and like trained to like in such a visual medium. Whenever I listen to a song, I picture a scene almost. That's
Yeah, yeah.
like you mentioned bank robberies at first, but I have like a whole playlist of just songs I want to rob banks to. Like I just like whenever I hear a
Nice.
song, it's just like, oh, this would be a good like you can see the getaway happening. You can see the putting on the mask and getting out of the car. So yeah, I love that like that's what you did because I had no visual reference for this. I was just like, this feels like a chill kind of almost like ambient kind of music that just goes up. But like
Mm,
when you said that, I could see it exactly unfolding as you like, and like it's perfect. You're right. It's just like this like nice, nice like kind of background for exactly that scene.
absolutely.
Yeah, cool. All right, we'll get in the next one. I also didn't realize I had done this very much by accident, but we just listened to a song called Best of Friends. We're about to listen to a band called Best Friend. This was not planned, but this is the band Best Friend. This is their song Last Bus in the AM. Let's Cool. That was Last Bus in the AM by Best Friend. They are a indie pop duo, I think from Brooklyn. Unfortunately, I don't know a lot about them, which is always the beauty of kind of this podcast and me discovering music is I just stumble on a, hey, they have like a SoundCloud page and a couple EPs out there. Uh, but it's a girl boy group. They make these kind of like dream pop, kind of like landscapey, beautiful like ballads. I think this is one of those. I think it's a perfect version of it. And I kind of am adding this as like the response to the first song we had by Fifi Dobson, where you like come into the day all confident and like, hey, I'm the badass bitch that's about to like run these auditions. And then you kind of like, after you've settled, and even if you did a good job, we all get that like anxiety that comes in where it's like, well, did I
Yeah.
do a good enough job? And this is like this like kind of like great little meditation on like I mean, she even says it in the song, like I'm the crowd pleaser, I'm the class clown, or whatever those lyrics are. But
Mm.
is that enough? Is that what I want to be? And as an actor, that is what you are. You're the one performing for everyone. And are you always like, are you valid? Like, are people going to appreciate you? And I imagine that anxiety always is creeping in the back of your head when you're like listening to stuff. So like, I love this song. I've been listening to it for a minute, but I want to get like your take on it.
Yeah, I think this song definitely appeals to like the part of me that's never satisfied, if that
Mm.
makes sense. And I think everybody experiences that too, is everybody's always kind of you set a goal and then you may hit that goal or fall just a little bit short, but as soon as you hit that goal, you're going to you have a new goal and a new dream and a new whatever. And so I think this song like appeals to that part of me that potentially like feels like it's not enough. Like, when's it gonna get better? And I think that's sweet in its own right, and I think it appeals to a lot of character types too, because that's why you need a you have a movie and you need a character arc, right? And that this
Mm.
definitely appeals to like a beginning of a character arc, and hopefully by the end you're like at Fifi level. But for sure, I this definitely appealed to like a very like loving, beautiful part of my heart.
Yeah, no, I think it's so wholly relatable to like, I mean, when I listen to this, I pictured an actress just like kind of sitting at the bar at the end of the night going like, man, that was a great day, but like I still have like a million anxiety. But like I think
Yeah.
it touches any person. I think every person has that moment where they're like, well, I know I'm loved, but am I loved by myself? Like it's just like this like
Yeah,
touching like real
absolutely.
strong kind of thought that I think we all have and that we can all relate to. And then it's just kind of like this nice like, but I'm taking that last bus. I know I'm going to my home and I know I'm gonna fall asleep and in the morning I'll be Fifi all over again.
Right,
Uh,
right.
yeah. Great, cool. Well, we've reached the end of the podcast or the end of the playlist and almost the end of the podcast. We have one more song. This is what I'm going to quote unquote the end credit song for Day in the Life of an
Nice.
Actress. We got one last kind of little sleepy gem to get through. This is Professor Penguin Pterodactyl. Right. That was the song Pterodactyl by Professor Penguin. So this is a UK project. I don't like, again, one of those bands that is just like a mystery. I think it's one guy. Uh, he has a couple albums as Professor Penguin. This one comes off the album Planes, and kind of just like a nice, cute thing that he did. It's like 12 tracks. Everything starts with a P. So all the songs are like Pterodactyl. I don't
Nice.
have the songs in front of me, but that's like a nice, like sweet little thing. But it's like this, like kind of like real beautiful, ethereal, like acoustic album, and like all these tracks are really personal and real, like kind of I don't know how to. I already said like ethereal. That's the right word. They're like this, like kind of like nice, like ambient music that you can just put on, like how you have your little big on when you have people over.
Yeah.
As the people thin out, to me, this is what I play when it's just like three of us and we all have like just like a little cocktail and the fireplace is on, and I have this kind of like nice background music. But I do think this is kind of like a nice little like bleeds out of Last Bus in the AM and kind of like gets you into bed
Mm.
and you're ready to like go to sleep, dream as an actress, and then wake up in the morning and you're doing it all over again.
Mm.
But yeah, how do you feel about this kind of like nice little send off?
Well, I love the cover art to this as well.
Yeah,
I,
again, it
I,
looks like hand drawn.
yeah, I just love the penguin aspect of it too. And yeah, this is such a different vibe from any other song on this playlist, which is really great too, because it also appeals to like the characters that we maybe haven't touched on that are maybe feeling a little bit more sad or depressed or need less energy than the high energy characters. And so I think it really appeals to that too.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you. I think it's like a, because even the highest of high energy characters has to have that moment to be like pulled back. Like you can't be shooting
Yeah.
banks the whole 24 hours a day. Like you need to like kind of rest and meditate. And yeah, and I think
It's
this
a
is just like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. It's a great grounding song too. I feel
Mm.
like ground yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah, I was almost gonna say that. You said it better than me. I was gonna say like, yeah, it like brings you back out of that energy, but like grounding is the exact phrase. But yeah, this is just like one of those things where I just picture the credits rolling, and it's just like, here's you watch the movie, you did it, we made it through, and here's like
The
a nice
moon
little
comes
send off.
up.
Yeah, just like a beautiful, beautiful evening song. So we did it. We got 12 songs. Being an actress, I think you liked most of them. But I also think you like were able to, and this is like just more power to you, even find the ones you didn't really resonate with, find a place in the like scope or in your life for it, which I think is so cool. And I think that's
Yeah.
the versatility of music. Did you have a favorite jam of the 12?
Honestly, I think it's probably the first one. I think that one was my
Mm.
favorite out of everything. I mean, they all have different vibes and different, like different. I love them all, but I think my favorite was that first one because a lot of the time in the morning I need like something to help me jam to get me going for the day to help get like the right energy started. And so that's definitely going to be one of my go-to songs.
That's so cool. Yeah. And to be honest, just between us girls, that was the one I was like most nervous about. I was like, oh, I really
Yeah.
like this song, but it's like a little kind of like pessimistic, but I hope it like works for, and I'm so glad you like latched onto it almost in the same way I did, where it is just like this like empowering anthem. Um, Excellent. Okay. Well, I think we've reached the end of this. We're going to come back in a little bit, play a game that's kind of like bonus content, which everyone I hope listens to. But before I do that, Megan, do you have anything you want to plug? Any places people can follow you or look out for
Um,
you, or what's coming up?
well, what's coming up on the horizon for me is I am starting my own podcast for to help people discover more about themselves. It's a podcast about self-discovery, and it's supposed to help you get from survival mode to thriving. So it's a self-help podcast, which I'm really stoked about. But I need a couple more months to get my stuff together. So I'll give you the name, but give me a little bit more time to get everything together. But it's going to be called Your Journey to You. And
Your
it's just
journey to
based
you.
off of my journey to me and teaching myself how to love myself and how to see my self-worth. And I think there's a lot of people out there who are struggling with their self-worth. And this is a great option to get them to a better place. And I have paid versions where they can get workbooks and like journaling prompts and challenges and cool tools and fun stuff. So I'm really stoked and I'm very excited to start helping people. And I'm hoping in the next couple months we'll be like ready to launch, but we got a trailer out there as of now to start. So you can find us on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, and then we're working on our website right now. So that'll be up here shortly. And the website for that will be, when it comes out, is www.yourjourneytoyou.love. Such a great domain.
Oh, woof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, please look out for that in the future. I mean, that sounds amazing. Oh my God. I can't wait for that. That sounds so cool. Well, thank you for being on. This has been List Connections. Everyone go grab that podcast. Or listen to the podcast. It's on Spotify. It's on YouTube. It's on Apple Podcasts. But more importantly, listen to the playlist that we made. Also, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get music. Enjoy it. Thanks. Thank you, Megan, for taking the time. All right. See you on the next episode.
No longer network.